All right, so if you want to become an absolute savage at sales, right, and close 1 to 3 sales a day, right, and consistent $10,000 a week, right, $40,000 a month, right? Like for me, it's the 27th, and I'm already at $43,000 of issue paid business up until today, right, and selling maybe 2 to 3 hours per day, right? And taking off most weekends just to be able to help agents in my agency. If you want to become an absolute savage and master at sales and increase your efficiency with the people you talk to, this video is going to be for you. Okay. So what I want to share with you is when you are getting objections, a lot of people, when they get objections, they think that that's the problem. Okay. I want to share something with you. You may have not heard up until this point. Okay. And your objections that you're getting at the end of the call are actually symptoms of your earlier part of the process in your sales call, right? Yeah, you're gonna get objections later in the call, even if you do things perfectly. But a massive mistake that most agents make is that they're discovering earlier in the call before the pitch, right? Before you give numbers, there's something off typically there, right? Maybe it's the intro, maybe it's in the middle of the call, maybe it's in the medical underwriting. I don't know what it exactly it is because it's different per situation. However, for you, if you're getting a think about it, talk to a spouse, partner objection, things like that on the back end, or there's a stall there, it's because you're earlier in the call, there were things that you let go that weren't acceptable answers, right? I tell my agents all the time, there are acceptable answers and there's not acceptable answers. And if you get a not acceptable answer, and you continue going, you're just setting yourself up to get objections on the back end. So what I want to share with you is absolutely getting in the trenches, right? And figuring out what objections you're actually getting before they even come up. And yeah, they're not going to say I need to think about it, but like right at the very, like in the middle of the call, they may, and then you can overcome it there. But it's a lot easier to overcome when your leverage that you have on the call. The reason why they're on the call is to be able to get the quote. If you continue to keep that leverage, but you're able to work through other things, people want to be congruent. People want to be aligned, right? People want to be, hey, I said this, I act like this, right? If they say it, they're more likely to act like that as well later in the call when they're actually choosing an option for them and their family. So what's really important is before objections come up, you want to make sure that you actually address them and overcome them. Some things you can pass by, but other things, right? If they're really talking about, oh my gosh, affordability, at first you just want to address it. But if they bring it up again and again, you want to really like head on, overcome that objection before you get it on the back end, right? And then you can actually frame it really well, because if you frame it really well, you're going to be able to have a higher close rate at the end, right? Or you just don't pitch, because your leverage is that you have the quote. They can't just go online. They could get a quote, but they can't just go online and buy life insurance like that. There's some companies that allow that, but they're on the call because they want a trusted advisor that will actually help them, guide them in the right direction, get them the best plan and best policy for their situation and their family. That's why they're on the call. And some people don't know that there's online options available that they can go and shop. But the reason why they're on the call is to be able to get the quote. You don't want to give up your leverage earlier on in the call, or you don't want to give up the leverage before you overcome the things that are actually coming up, right? So for example, they're like, okay, I don't want to pay today. Or another objection is like, hey, today's the 27th. I don't get paid till the 3rd. I can't do anything today, right? You want to overcome that head on. Or if they're like, I need to think about it, or there's little things that they're going to say along the sales call that are going to show up later in the call. But if you address that and overcome that, right? So we'll go back to the affordability part. If they keep saying affordability, I just want to make sure it fits in my budget, I want to make sure my finances look good, address that, right? Head on. Hey, that's exactly what I'm here to do. Between you and me, that's probably why they actually got you over to me, because I specialize with working with people on fixed incomes, right? Social Security, disability, fixed incomes like that. Would you say you're in a pretty similar spot too? They say yes. Awesome. So again, between you and me, that's probably why they got you over to me, because I specialize with helping people on fixed incomes, right? And speaking of affordability, for you, what's kind of a good, kind of comfortable number monthly, even on a tight month? Are we talking like $150 to $200? Are we talking like $75 to $100 or $200 to $300? Like what for you is a good comfortable number, right? Get a number, right? And then from there, you craft your pitch that's very specific and customized to them. And so your pitch will continue adding on as you go, and it'll actually help you. It'll actually help get more buy-in from the client because they see, okay, this guy actually knows and understands what I'm looking for and can address the deep concerns that I have internally. Because if you can do this, you will become an absolute savage at sales. If you can understand, okay, the objections that I'm going to get on the back end, they're going to start manifesting in the front end, right? Because again, it's a symptom, it's not the problem. The problem is because your discovery isn't pointed enough. Maybe you didn't go deeper into the why. If there's not enough urgency on the back end that they want to think about it, it's because your discovery was a little off. So you want to fix that. You want to change that. You want to ask a little bit deeper questions. Maybe you need to ask a few follow-up questions to what they say, right? Just because they say it might be a little tough, who's it going to be tough for? What they actually have to do when that time does come, right? Start painting the picture of what it'll actually look like if they do not have the coverage in place, right? And consequence them hard, right? Maybe your consequence question didn't land as well because there wasn't enough buildup, right? Maybe you didn't get deep enough with the client. I don't know. These are some things to really think through and understand, right? Maybe you didn't identity frame them and put a heavy identity that like this is something that they do. It sounds like they're loving. It sounds like they're caring. It sounds like they want to make sure that when that time does come, their family's taken care of. Does that sound about right for you in your situation, Miss Mary? Okay. And I guess for you, if something, God forbid, were to happen, and I know that you said your daughter's going to be your beneficiary, like, would it be, pretty easy for her to just come out of pocket $20,000, or would that be a little tough? Oh, okay. Like, what would she have to do? Like, go put it on a credit card, take out a loan? Like, what would that actually look like for her? Because I'm sure that she has her own life too, right? Yeah. So see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you get an answer, but you want to pry deeper and deeper, get the juice from the juice. Then you actually have a pain point that you can actually solve a problem because you're a problem solver. You're not selling just anything, right? The product is designed to solve the problem that they have. If you can understand that and always look for the problem and provide a solution, they're going to buy every time. It just makes logical sense. And yeah, it makes logical sense, but if you can get deep on an emotional level, that's going to trigger them to want to buy today and eliminate all those objections that you get in the past. So I want to challenge you, when you get back in objections, look earlier in your call and see, okay, what does this actually look like? Why am I getting these back end objections? What triggers or signs did they give? Yellow flags, red flags did they give earlier in the call that triggered that? Even, and this is like a shorter example, but I'm saying for even a chargeback, right? Maybe they said stuff during the call before, during or after the call that was a red flag and you just avoided it, and now you got a chargeback, right? Yeah, chargebacks are gonna happen, but there's things that you can do to help avoid that. And so whenever something bad happens, you always want to look at, okay, that's a lagging indicator. What's the actual main source of why this is happening? Because yeah, people always have to think about it, but what did you do earlier in the call to not pre-frame that that's off the table? Okay, this is what we do with our agents on a day-to-day and weekly basis. We have 10 coaching calls per week to help agents with this specifically, help you in your situation master sales. That's what I do. That's what I help out with. And that's literally what has helped me and grow my agency to $200,000 to $250,000 a month in a very short amount of time and growing like crazy, is because this is what we teach every single day. We hammer that, we drill that. We make sure your objections are on point so you know exactly what to say and how to say it to clients that are coming in. Because a lead is a lead, right? A lead is a name and number. And if you can get that person actually on the phone, that's 90% of the battle, right? To get them on the phone. But if you can get them on the phone, you should be closing at a really high rate. And if you're not, and if you're getting a lot of contacts, or you're getting a decent amount of contacts, 10, 20 a day, and you're not making 2 to 3 sales a day, there's a serious problem in your sales process, and you have to fix that. Because once you fix that and actually identify that and understand that, and it actually can master sales, you are going to win at a very high level and not have to worry about paying the bills month in and month out. Right? You're going to live a really good life if you can really truly understand sales and sales psychology. That's what's the thing that will help push this person over the line, and what's it for them? What's the biggest holdup for them? What's their main concern? And if you can address that, they're going to buy at a really high clip. So hope this video was helpful for you. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It helps a ton get this message out there and a lot of other people to really understand and master sales and the sales psychology of what you need to do to really win at a high level. So drop in the comments down below if this was helpful for you, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.